Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. If you're ready for the regular season and are with me, Perna. The next few days in the NFL could be a bit crazy. Every team has to have their roster trimmed down to the final 53 by 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. A lot of men will have their dreams broken faster than a friendship between Big Ben and AB, which I would like to do just one fucking NFL news video without mentioning Antonio Brown. That is my goal. Today is not that day, but that is my goal. I will, however, bring you updates on Deshaun Jackson's broken finger, Gronk's next chapter, Jadeveon Clowney, Jake Butt, and why you should be terrified of Leonard Fournette's kid. Let's get And if you are looking forward to an Antonio Brownless episode, like this video. Today's episode is sponsored by MyBookie. For all of your sports betting needs this season, check out MyBookie. Use my promo code ThatsGood and they will double your first deposit up to $1,000. Football season is finally here, so if you're into making the games interesting, do it at one of the world's leading sports betting providers. MyBookie has live in-game betting on every NFL game. They've got the most rewarding player perks in the business, and for you fantasy guys out there, you can even bet the over-under on how many fantasy points a player will score in each game. Again, use my link in the description or my promo code ThatsGood when creating your account at MyBookie to double your first deposit. The best thing about the game of football is that it's one of the few sports where we can watch one child assault another child and cheer for it. Leonard Fournette posted this video of his son dropping a thunderous hit on some poor kid who thought he could compete against an NFL bloodline. Oh! For Field Yates, Brock Osweiler visited the Colts this week, going from a Stanford grad to an Arizona State guy who left after 3 years must be a tough transition. Like needing surgery and going from a board-certified physician to a guy who watched Grey's Anatomy at a bar with the sound off. Brock Osweiler and Jacoby Brissett already battled it out on Thursday Night Football 2 years ago. And Osweiler actually won. It was probably one of Osweiler's top 3 all-time games. In fact, Chad Kelly can also be seen in that game on the Broncos sideline here. If Colts fans thought that night was bad, I can't imagine how they'll feel when 2/3 of their quarterback roster consists of the worst QB lineup the Broncos have ever had. I did see Pro Football Talk post a quote from Saints backup quarterback Taysom Hill, who said he copies everything Drew Brees does on and off the field. Sadly, Drew Brees' wife confirmed this statement. Taysom Hill can't even get being a Mormon right. It's supposed to be multiple wives for one man, Taysom, not multiple husbands for one wife. Then we have this before and after photo of former Vikings head coach Brad Childress surfacing on the internet. He went from dad Childress to mad Childress. From science teacher to convicted pedo. From actual Viking to an actual bear. Former Steelers linebacker Ryan Shazier was seen catching balls out at the Steelers and Titans pregame warm-up. Ryan Shazier was given a 20% chance to ever walk again after sustaining a spinal injury against the Bengals back in 2017. To see the progress he's made is pretty incredible, and is a reminder to focus on the positive player stories when we can, instead of Antonio Brown's antics. Now, to focus on Antonio Brown's antics, Ben Roethlisberger, in a chat with Michelle Tafoya, said he wishes he never called out AB after throwing an interception to Shelby Harris that cost the Steelers the game, and that ruined their friendship. To which Antonio Brown quote tweeted, "Never friends, just had to get my ends. Shut up already." He just gets more mature every day. Does being that petty make you really good at football? Or is throwing an interception to a defensive tackle so disastrous that it destroys friendships? Brown eventually deleted his tweet after dozens of people started citing references to when Brown claimed a real friendship with Roethlisberger. Rob Gronkowski has partnered with Abacus Health Products, a CBD company. You may know, I hate the Patriots, a deep-seated hate that's more real than math. But nobody can truly hate Gronk. I hated how good he was, but always admired his upbeat personality. Gronk embodied an athlete who brought joy, real joy to his work. So if you want to understand how brutal the NFL is for players and their bodies, nothing could be more powerful than seeing Gronk nearly in tears about it.
I needed to recover. I was not in a good place. Football was bringing me down, and I didn't like it. And I was losing that joy in life, like the joy. I'm sorry right now, but
A sad Gronk is one of the most depressing things I have ever seen. It falls right between kids not getting presents on Christmas and learning you must be this tall to ride. My childhood in 2 acts. Gronk said he slept for 5 minutes after winning the Super Bowl and was in tears because of the quad injury he sustained in the first half. He said he couldn't sleep for more than 20 minutes for 4 months and had 1 liter of blood removed from his quad, which by all accounts was extracted orally by Tom Brady himself. It has been reported here before that Gronk is Brady's blood boy. Deshaun Jackson broke his ring finger at an Eagles workout this week. The team is not concerned because everyone knows Deshaun Jackson is never getting married or winning a Super Bowl. In their ongoing quest to waste more talent than any other NFL franchise this season, we learned that the Texans' edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney fired his agent Bus Cook and is reportedly going to sign with Van Sheff in dumb shit I make up for my own entertainment agency in hopes of helping him decide to either play on his franchise tag or navigate a trade. Clowney was allegedly going to show up this week. That was his plan until he watched the Cowboys embarrass Houston 34-0, but also learned that the Texans had been shopping him for a trade. Clowney has met with Dolphins head coach Brian Flores, which makes Miami the #1 place Clowney could land, assuming he forgets there are 31 other teams he could play for. Clowney has made it known he wants to play for the Seahawks or the Eagles. Brian Flores is currently sending Clowney daily reminders about how nice the weather is in Miami and hopes to sway him. That's all they have. Don't forget, Jadeveon, we've got great weather. Ryan Fitzpatrick, but great weather. Or Josh Rosen in very, very good weather. Did I mention the weather down here, Jadeveon? And tragically, a guy who just can't seem to catch a lucky break, Tyreek Hill, did not get to participate in the great chicken debate of 2019. He waited 35 minutes and was told they were all out of chicken sandwiches at Popeyes. At which point Hill asked, "Are any of you recording this?" What happened after that, nobody will ever be able to confirm. Both 49ers running back Jerick McKinnon and Broncos tight end Jake Butt are having a hard time bouncing back from last year's ACL tears. Butt is undergoing a cleanup surgery after his knee swelled up when he returned to the game action for the first time since 2018. Cleanup surgeries always sound like the doctor has to go back in and remove some medical equipment they left in the wound the first time. This is embarrassing, but your knee, it keeps swelling up because we need to do a little cleanup surgery. Just a little cleanup surgery. I can't fucking believe that's where I left my Chick-fil-A punch card. I will get that free sandwich. Just gotta cut your back open so I can get a free spicy chicken sandwich. You good with that? 49ers GM John Lynch is not good with that. He said McKinnon also suffered another setback and is not encouraged about the running back's return. Butt is recovering from his 3rd ACL tear, which is pretty heroic, but both guys are in jeopardy of getting placed on IR again or even being cut by their teams. The world still waits for Zeke Elliott and or Melvin Gordon to get deals or trades worked out with their teams. The latest news suggests Melvin Gordon will be back with the Chargers and ready for week 1. Good news for the Chargers, bad news for the AFC. It feels like there's an extra spot in the playoffs open now with Andrew Luck's retirement, and teams think they can take it. And I touched on this in the last episode, but the soccer player, Carly Lloyd, kicking for an NFL team seems to be even more real now. She is considering pursuing an opportunity to kick in 2020. The two biggest questions I have are, can she kick a 55-yarder with a shorter drop back? And at age 38, she's battling father time or mother time. I want to be politically correct here. Either way, she's still young enough to be Adam Vinatieri's daughter, so that should help her chances. I want to see this, I really do, partially because of the history, but also for the Chernobyl-level meltdowns it will certainly cause on social media. Nobody wants a woman kicker until she hits a 50-yard game winner for their team. Is it really worse, though, than having Martine Gramatica on your team? Or, God forbid, the Fred Durst of special teams himself, Mike Vanderjagt? The movie, Necessary Roughness, already proved that this could work. This may be the best example of where fiction is actually less believable than reality. In the movie, the college players are shocked Kathy Ireland can kick a field goal 40 yards.
That was 40 yards. How long was that? 40 yards.
Carly Lloyd is out there banging 55-yarders. In Hollywood's greatest fantasy, a guy in his mid-30s could barely play college football again as quarterback, and not even at a D1 school. Meanwhile, Tom Brady is 42 and still in the NFL. My prediction based on that movie is that Carly makes a team in 2020 and wins the Super Bowl as the first female kicker ever. Or Brock Osweiler returns to Arizona to play in his final year of eligibility at the college. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all of your NFL weekly news updates. That's what we do, baby. NFL news. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, at Brandon Perna. My buddy, at Wilkie6, also on Twitter. He helps me write football content video episodes here. And that's just the way it goes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.